First, there was the plastic trombone. Then, there was the plastic trumpet. And now, most spectacularly of all, is the pBuzz. This here is the pBuzz. It is an instrument made from the same people that bring you the P trombone, the P trumpet, and whatever other monstrosities they have taken and made in plastic. It is a fairly simple instrument. It is effectively a tunable vuvuzela. This one is in red, as you can quite clearly see. It is teamed with a white plastic pBuzz emblazed mouthpiece. It's about the same size as a baritone small bore tenor trombone mouthpiece, and it has one unique feature that differentiates this from the vuvuzela, and that is the telescopic part. I don't really know if this is a slide per se or what it is, but it is a telescopic part. And that enables this instrument to be able to play several notes. These marks on the slide have several numbers across it from 1 to 6, and if you rotate it for some reason about a third of the way around, you get some notes: C, B, B flat, A, G and F. And then if you rotate it a little bit more, you get absolutely nothing. For some reason, that's just the way this is wrapped. Effectively, it's a small central tube. This is some paper that has been scrolled up and put inside it, and you've got a clear plastic outer casing that goes inside the slide bit. Couple of foibles with this instrument. First is, if you're playing it in a very cold environment such as what I am now, this plastic starts to get all condensation-y and steamy, and you can't really read what the numbers or notes are that you are playing. Also, when you've got it in this angle, it's also very hard to see them anyway because of the viewing angle, unless you were to sort of play it like that. The slide doesn't really flow very well. You have to, it sort of gets stuck at that end there. You have to really hold it quite straight, otherwise it just goes a bit jerky. When you get the instrument, it comes in a clear plastic wrapper, such as what you might find a pair of spoons in or something like that. And it has no instructions at all other than to go and look on the website for tutorials and various things like that. They have a 7-page PDF showing various tunes that you could play with the note names written underneath and the colours that those notes correspond to on this sort of slider thing that we have. The instrument is quite clearly aimed at young people. People that are just trying to learn a little bit about how to make some noise, perhaps an introduction to brass instruments, because the website that goes along with this instrument has the following. For all the latest pBuzz music, games and much more, ask a grown-up to sign up here for your free newsletter. I might have to ask my parents to do that for me. And on the website they also have a number of images of little children playing. Learn to play in minutes, enjoy for a lifetime. I think that would be a parent's worst nightmare. But anyway, let's play some of this. It's got a bit of an odd harmonic series. The fundamental is this, which is roughly a C if you were to have a very out of tune piano. And by extending the slide, we can get this sort of arrangement. We have the first harmonic, which is awfully out of tune in comparison. They sound like this. We can't play a scale without bringing it up an interval in the harmonic series. The best we can do by playing the notes that are written on this is as follows. It also doesn't say where on the slide the actual notes correspond to. Is F down there, or is it in line with the little white line there? Is G at the bottom of the G, in the middle of the G, or at the top of the G? So you sort of don't really know where the notes actually are. But anyway, let's try a scale by putting it up an interval in the harmonic series. Let's do a G scale. If this was to be a little bit more useful, I would recommend having a trumpet-sized mouthpiece in it, and perhaps something that had a little bit more tubing so that you could play several of the intervals in the harmonic series. Because my experience with how learners start to play an instrument is that they start usually on a cornet or a trumpet or one of those smaller of the brass instruments, and they go from there. And learning how to change intervals in the harmonic series is one of the first critical lessons. And on an instrument like this, which is only really designed to have its fundamental and really the first harmonic only, even though that is really out of tune, it sort of limits that. And I feel that it's a little bit misguided, a little bit of a misguided attempt at producing something to help learners play. I guess it's the equivalent of a brass recorder, the instrument that everyone sort of has to learn at primary school, and is an introduction to how music works, how notes work, what the stave does, and things like that. And you could charitably think of this as the equivalent for a brass instrument. But unfortunately, it's not really teaching much that I think is usable. These numbers here don't correspond to a slide position. For instance, the first three do, but there's no A flat here. So whilst the first three intervals are chromatically descending, there is no A flat, and so consequently the G is marked as 5 instead of 6. So I think that's another area where this is sort of missing the point somewhat. I think, however, for only £20 it's got a value, but I think that they've missed the opportunity to make this instrument into something that can really be used as a good, useful learning aid. Because the only real transferable skill that exists between this instrument and proper brass instruments is the fact that you're using a mouthpiece, you're doing some tonguing. The slide stuff, the intervals of the slide, unfortunately I don't think any of that is transferable between this and say another brass instrument, and I think in that regard it's missing the point. In conclusion, I think this is a worthy attempt, but I think it really misses the mark. There are a number of things that I would choose to change if I was designing this. Should you get it? It's up to you. If you think this has a value in your life that exceeds the £20 plus shipping that it costs, then go for it. If not, then perhaps put that money to something else. Thanks for watching.